What do you need?
I think I was scared.
What's in your hand? What is that? This is my straw.
Yeah.
Guys, this is my Fairy Lou straw. He stole it. Hi guys, and welcome to the start of a new weekly reading vlog. This week, I'm gonna be reading my best friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. This is a library book, and I just want to point out that I am a little disappointed that this is the cover that I freaking got. I'm gonna insert the cover that I thought I was getting. Obviously, it's not that big of a deal, but I don't know. I thought I could get some really cute pictures with the other cover, so I'm just a little bit bummed out about that. But you know, it is what it is, so I'm gonna move on from that. So anyways, this book is about two girls who've been best friends since elementary school, and they're in high school now.
I love you.
I love you too. I guess I should tell you their names. Their names are Abby and Gretchen. One day, Gretchen goes skinny dipping into the lake, and it's the middle of the night, it's pitch black, and she does not like resurface. No one can find her, no one knows, you know, what's happening. Everyone's a little bit freaked out. She is not located until the next morning, and when she's found, she's still naked. She's dazed and confused. She doesn't really remember anything that happened. So the events of this night are pretty much what start the downward path that is Gretchen. Before this night, Gretchen was really popular. She was really beautiful. She's very intelligent in school. She had good hygiene, and you know, just stuff like that. After the skinny dipping incident, she starts to become really reclusive, not really wanting to talk to anybody. Her hygiene starts to get really bad. She starts to not be as pretty as she once was, and she's starting to lose all of the friends that she once had, minus her best friend Abby, who is honestly trying to figure out what the heck is going on. It's so interesting reading this book because, like I said, it's set in the late 80s, and it's got all sorts of 80s references. It talks about movies and music and just, you know, all of the fun activities that teenagers did in the 80s. It makes me wish I had grown up in the 80s, except obviously I'm black, so I probably would have had just a little bit of a different experience. So yeah, I'm like a little over 100 pages into the book, and I will update you guys in a little bit. Remember when I was saying I would have loved to have been a teen in the late 80s just because it sounds like so much fun, except obviously I'm black, so it would have been a little bit of a different experience. There have been a few lines in the book that have 100% proven my point. Occasionally, a rebel showed up wearing cornrows, although not explicitly banned by the dress code, were considered outrageous enough to get her sent home. Like, y'all, really? Thursday was Slave Day. 5 years later, Slave Day was gone as if it had never existed. But in 1988, no one dreamed that it could possibly be offensive. It was a tradition. Another example is that when Abby was in elementary school, it said that she had to perform a performance where she was playing Quincy Jones. He's a very talented black songwriter, producer, musician. So anyway, she was playing Quincy Jones, and they actually painted her face black in blackface. Y'all know as much as I do that that's a big no-no, but of course in the 1980s you could get away with that. Those are just a few examples that I've read so far in the book. I've read actually quite a few more, but those are just the ones that really stuck out to me. In this day and age, people actually still do dumb shit like this, but of course they get called out on it, and in the 1980s you obviously got away with it. I finished my best friend's Exorcism last night, and it is so good. It's so cute. I don't know, it's everything that I didn't even know that I was missing in life. If you guys are looking to get into some 80s vibes and references and all the fun stuff that happened in the 80s, this is the thriller book for you. I honestly went into this book not expecting there to be an actual exorcism or a demon involved. For some reason, I was thinking it was about two girls coming of age and kind of like parting ways in high school. I just assumed that one of the girls was kind of jealous that her other friend was moving on and was trying to blame somebody, the demon, or like anything just for an explanation. But no, y'all, this girl was legit possessed. Like, there was a whole exorcism, like it was a whole thing. I will say there was a few problematic things mentioned in the book, but that's because obviously this is written to be in the 80s. So I kind of expected there to be some, you know, problematic things and trigger warnings. So let me just go ahead and read off a few of them. Rape, sexual assault casually being mentioned, and no repercussions for the perpetrator. Tons of racist and ignorant things said about black people. Physical abuse towards a teenager by both of her parents, and there's also an eating disorder mentioned in here. So yeah, I just want to give a few of those trigger warnings. I wish that I had a friend relationship like Abby and Gretchen did, but I was one of those kids that for some reason we were always moving. Like every 2 years we were moving houses, or we were moving cities or states, so I never really had a close friendship like that. I'm honestly shocked that Grady Hendrix is a man, because this book is written mainly about females. Like, all of the main characters are females, and y'all, I I'm shocked that he's a man. He wrote them so well. Like I couldn't even tell that a man wrote this book. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars, and I would 100% recommend this book to anyone that's into thrillers and mysteries. It was so good. So after my best friend's exorcism, this is the book that I picked up, and it's called The Vines by Shelley Nolden. For some reason in my TBR video, I kept saying Shelley Norden, but it's actually Shelley Nolden, so my bad. I'm one of those people that I usually only read like 100 to 150 pages a day, and I'm already on page 200, so yeah. The Vines is about a girl named Cora who has been kind of held prisoner on this island for over 100 years. I know, you're thinking, over 100 years? What the heck? How is she still alive? Your guess is as good as mine. Like, I genuinely don't know how this chick is still alive. She still looks really young. Like, she doesn't look a day over 20. For over a century, there's been 4 generations of this one family that have been doing experiments on her, against her will, by the way. They've been doing experiments on her, trying to find a cure for all the diseases in the world, because apparently her blood holds the answers to finding cures for all the diseases in the world. So anyways, these 4 generations of men have been poking and prodding and torturing this poor young woman. Bless her heart, I feel so bad for her. She's so sweet. She goes through so much torture and so much pain, and she kind of just goes through it. Like, she doesn't really have a choice, and I feel really bad for her. One of the things that I love about this book is that it is told from 2 different perspectives, and it's told kind of from like 2 different timelines. So Cora, who is the girl getting experimented on, her timeline is from the early 1900s to like the mid 1900s, and she kind of just tells her story, how she got to the island, what she's doing on the island, how each generation of men have been treating her. And then the second perspective and storyline, we follow Finn. Finn's storyline is in 2007, which is present day in the book, and he is one of the descendants of the people that have been tormenting and experimenting on this poor woman. Like, he genuinely had no idea this was happening, so it's kind of a shock to him when he finds out. Finn wants to rescue this woman. He wants to find a way to get her off this island. He wants his family to stop experimenting on her. And yeah, that's basically where I'm at so far in this book. I finished The Vines last night. I ended up giving this book a 4 out of 5 stars. It was so good. It was really interesting, and it had a premise that I had never heard of before. There's a major plot twist at the end of this book. Like, I did not see it coming. So as soon as I read the plot twist, I got goosebumps. Like, it was that big of a plot twist. Once you know the plot twist, everything about the story changes. It was a really good plot twist that I did not see coming. If you're okay with reading mental, physical, and sexual abuse, this could be a really good book for you to read, because when you take those things out of it, it really does have a very interesting premise. Also, when I started this book, I thought it was going to be a standalone, but I do believe it's actually going to be a sequel, so I'm pretty excited to see when the next book comes out, because the way this book ended, y'all, it cannot end like that. The ending was so wild that I have to know what happens next. So now I'm gonna pick up All the Ugly and Wonderful Things by Brian Greenwood. I don't know if it's Bryn or Brian, but I'm gonna say Brian Greenwood. And yeah, this is the book right here. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish this book before the end of my vlog, but I'm gonna go ahead and start it anyway. And yeah, I guess I'll update you guys later tonight after I've read a few chapters. I finished All the Ugly and Wonderful Things last night. Let's back it up a little bit so I can tell you what it's about before I even give you my review on it. So it's about a girl named Wavy who was born to 2 drug addict parents. She has a terrible childhood. Wavy has been abused to the point that she hardly ever talks, and she doesn't eat in front of people. This is the story of Wavy growing up. This is the story of Wavy falling in love with a grown man. Yes, guys, you heard me right. This is the story of Wavy falling in love with a grown man. This is their love story. This is one of those books, guys, that it's gonna question your morals. It's gonna question your thoughts. So, you know, be careful going into this book. I'm just saying. I did finish this book last night, and I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I was curious from chapter 1 all the way to the very last chapter. I never got bored. It was never slow in any parts. It was always quick paced. I guess I ought to tell you the grown man's name. The grown man's name in this book that Wavy is falling in love with, his name is Kellen, and they met when Wavy was first 8 years old. Like, that is when the like relationship started. At first it was just platonic. He was genuinely just trying to be a good guy because he knows that her parents are trash. He would take her to school, he would buy her food, he would protect her when her dad was trying to abuse her. So, you know, at first it genuinely was just a platonic relationship. You know, it was weird, don't get me wrong, but it was friendly at first. You know, he had good intentions in the beginning, and then when Wavy started to get a little bit older, and when I mean a little bit older, I'm not talking about 16 or 17, I'm talking about like 10 and 11, things went from platonic, a little bit creepy but still platonic, to inappropriate. And when I'm saying inappropriate, I'm talking about kissing on the lips, watching this child skinny dip, having inappropriate thoughts, sneaking into her bedroom late at night and laying in the same bed as her while she slept. And then when she turns 13, it gets even more inappropriate, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. So anyways, like I said, I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars, and it was amazing. So it's Saturday afternoon, and I'm not gonna vlog anything after this, but I did wanna let you guys know that the next book I'm gonna be picking up is called A Dark and Secret Place by Jen Williams. I am going to be reading this book in next week's reading vlog, so this is gonna be the first one that I'm reading. I'm pretty excited to get into it because I've heard absolutely nobody talk about it. I'm pretty much going in blind, and I love it like that. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading vlog. If you did, please give me a like and a subscribe, and maybe comment down below if you've read any of these books and what you rated the books. I will see you guys really soon with another video.